Hi, welcome to the Just Ask series brought to you by the Eagle Heart Foundation. So here is where we promote cross-cultural communication to learn from each other and to encourage community. Over the past decade, we are moving into a culture of having conversations that we really haven't had before. Hence, this may be the first time that the person who's being interviewed is actually being asked a particular question. So with that in mind, understand that this individual may be at the early stages of defining their answer and their stance. So we may have a lot of people come back onto the show after they have defined their stance a little bit more. So in this, we come together with honor and respect and curiosity to just ask each other those deeper questions. The individuals who are being interviewed, they are speaking from their personal lived experience. And by no means is the individual representing or speaking on behalf of the population that they identify with. So with that being said, let's sit back and get to know each other.
So I know in the previous two videos that we did for this series, we talked about you being a member of the Navajo Nation, as well as Dutch heritage, being a member of Gen X, identifying as Navajo and all of that. What kind of struggles did you experience based on your generation and how you identify based on your ethnicity,
Yeah,
essentially?
that's a wonderful question. And, you know, the way that I'd like to approach that is it is very important to understand that I am Gen X because this is a time, especially if you are a millennial or a younger generation, you may not have the understanding of living in a culture or a population that looks at you differently because you're biracial. And so with me, it was difficult. It really challenged my personal sense of identification in the sense of belonging to a larger community. So when I would go down to the reservation on the Navajo side, my clan is on the New Mexico side in the United States of the Four Corners, which is Colorado, Utah, Arizona, and New Mexico. So the Navajo reservation, kind of by Shiprock, I would go down there and visit my cousins, and they would tease me because I was the little white girl, the little little Billigana. When I say tease, they maybe I'm sensitive, maybe they were just having fun, but they teased kind of hard, and it was kind of mean, poking me with a broomstick and spraying Lysol on me, which kind of made me feel like I was dirty in one way or another. But they laughed. And then I remember being introduced to the cousins on my mother's side, which are full Dutch, most of them. And they would like kind of look down on me like I was some sort of a poster child for the less than culture. And they would call me the little Indian girl. And I had no sense of belonging. I was very different than each of my cousins. I look very different from my father. He is unmistakably Navajo. When I say English is his first language, that also means that he has a very Navajo accent when he speaks English, which is, something, I don't know if you guys want me to, it's more or less like long pauses because you need to consider what you're being asked and listen to your heart, which native language is Navajo, and then translate it into English. So there's a little bit of a pause there, but his answers are always so deep and poignant. And so we moved up here when I was a little girl for the white man education and white man schooling system, Billigana, because it was seen to be superior to the Native American. And I remember going to school and wanting and being surrounded by a lot of light-skinned people and wanting to fit in and getting mad at myself for my hair, my eyes, definitely Navajo nose, and I was embarrassed. And then, so I tried to be more of my Dutch side in order to fit in. Then I started getting sassy pants, as we all do, and I started identifying more with the Native American, and I had all of these anger feelings, probably DNA anger feelings of, you stole my land. But truly I was arguing with myself because my Dutch side took the land from my Navajo side, and then my parents get married. So it was really confusing. It literally, I would say, to create my own identity. And then when I was figuring out what do I identify with, I ended out saying I identify with both. But here's the crazy story. When I was in high school, trying to be all white girl, there was a little counselor that pulled me out of class. And let me tell you, when you're in high school and the counselor pulls you out of class, everybody's looking, everybody wants to know what she said. She pulls me into the class and outside into the hall, and she says to me, how are you adapting to the white culture? Do you need any help? I didn't know how to respond to that. I'm like, I've been here just as long. Why are you projecting like I need help? I was so embarrassed. I don't even think I told my friends what she said to me. Obviously it impacted me enough. It was like a 2 or 3 minute conversation, and I still remember it in my 50s. And so it was a struggle about not only how I was seen, but my feeling of sense of belonging. And through my own self-work, self-healing, it was probably 15 years ago, I finally realized I'm both. I absolutely have a social security number. I am a white person. I absolutely have my certificate of Indian blood. I am considered full blood under the Navajo Nation's program. So maybe I'm not half and half. And I have been called by Native people, not the Navajo Nation, but other Native people, as a female half-breed. So there's a lot of things that happened. And then on the flip side, you get the job because you write down that you're Native American and they need to meet their quota. And it just gets to be this place of how you see me as none of my business. And I am not 50% and 50%. I'm 100% and 100%. I'm a bridge. And so those are my struggles, and learning how to be my authentic self, which is probably one of the main reasons that Granddaughter Crow really encourages authenticity within individuals, because I'm not the only person in the Gen X population that is bicultural. There's a lot of us, and now it's getting a little bit more familiar that people in the generations after me are like, what does it matter? It mattered back then. It mattered back then. And to some people, it still matters. To me, I am Granddaughter Crow. I carry a lineage of 2 cultures that I tried to take the best from and move that forward.
I really like what you said about the bicultural and identifying culturally instead of racially in a way, because race is really more of a social construct, whereas culture is something that is actually identifiable. And being that bridge is really important because you get to see both sides and you get to help other people kind of recognize the beauty in different cultures. So just thank you so much for sharing that. I know it's really hard to talk about struggles that we've had, but I think that this is a really good stopping point, and we'll see everyone in the next video.
Awesome. So thank you very much for watching the Just Ask series. If you like this, like and subscribe, and we will have more to come.